Hi, good afternoon. Apologies, I'm late. I just came from a meeting. ASEAN, I represent Director Jerry Labsillas. We've been long-time partners of the BCYF. We've also arranged a roundtable discussion back then on microfinance. So, what would be my input here?
Okay, question.
Yung question mo nandito. Pag hindi mo nasagot,
Social entrepreneurship. Yeah, he's in an ASEAN meeting in Myanmar.
What are your rules? What do you think you can offer in the social enterprise space? What activities you can?
Actually, the programs and services kasi of TTI don't discriminate naman whether you're social enterprise or otherwise. It's general and very mainstream, so we accept all kind of but of course, we support the intent of social entrepreneurship. That is, while you are maximizing your profit, you also maximize the benefits of society and the environment. And the profits you derive from this are used to generate funds for social programs. So we support that. We have programs like the P3, the Pondo sa Pagbabago at Pag-asenso, where we no, actually not us, but the Small Business Corporation, an attached agency of the DTI, where they lend money with no collateral requirement. The average loan amount ranges from 5,000 to 100,000 a month, against the usual loan providers, yung mga 5, 6 and all. So I think this program complements the objective of the social entrepreneurship bill. And as I've mentioned, our other programs also, although no particular mention of social enterprise, yun din yung, ano niya, yung in the spirit. So we support and we promote the intent of the bill.
Pahabol lang, ano? BCYF hosts 3 special activities every year. Every February is Philippine Innovation Week. That's the one with the proclamation. Every July is Philippine Social Enterprise Month. It used to be a week, but there are now 16 activities, so we made it a month. And then every September, we have the Philippine Social Responsiveness Month. We have a Sustainability Summit, etc. In November, we have our National Search for Hometown Heroes. Okay, so where we recognize 1 hero per town and city in the whole country. Over 1,600 every year are recognized by us. Anyway, I mentioned Philippine Social Enterprise Month. We would like to partner with all of you. Tell us what we can do, and we can discuss it. This year, for the first time, we will have an International Social Enterprise Conference for educators only. So in case you guys are interested, tell us. These are fully funded projects. We're not asking you for any money, just participation or papers. If you'd like to do research naman, we ask for those who want to submit research proposals between November, which is our anniversary month, and January, to be presented in July. Medyo maiksi ng konti. We also have a request for case studies. We pay for every case that we accept. So if you have students in graduate school, etc., who want to write cases, we have a program to support that. The head of our program is Dr. Frankie Roman. I don't know if you know him. Founder of the
Harvard Boy.
Harvard Boy, doctorate from Harvard, but now shifting from CSR to social enterprise. Like Wayne Gleiser, who is shifting from CSR to social enterprise. So I've asked Wayne to come back next year to share his journey. I invited him to come here for the first time 9.5 years ago to talk about CSR. Most of the people we're talking with are not talking about social enterprise. Diba? The other one we're in partnership with is the ASEAN CSR Network. Gusto niya to do something in the area of youth naman, youth CSR-based social entrepreneurship. Because we have a CSR Youth Awards. So sabi ko, I would like to do this. Sabi niya, can we, sabi ko mag-usap tayo. So please join us for the Philippine Social Enterprise Month in July. Anybody who has time, we'd like to invite you to join our committee, which meets every month. 3 months of meetings lang, 3 meetings lang, then tapos na lahat. So it's December, January, February, in case you're interested. Sorry, thank you.
Sorry, pag-iinaw lang po dun sa, when
Yes,
you
ma'am.
say, hinihiwalay niyo po yung poverty alleviation.
Yes.
Parang kailangan ko lang po sana clarification yung, ano po yung social objective? May social objective pa rin po yung,
Let me answer.
sige po, yeah.
Importante ito kasi siyang head ng policy board. Okay, Ma'am Gito, let me answer by giving you a couple of examples. Okay. We all know that the young and social entrepreneurs are mostly coming from the Ateneo. Okay. So Ateneo asked me to host their first roundtable so that the faculty can be guided on how they do this. This was 6 to 8 years ago. Okay, they asked me to, and I was telling them, if I'm a student and I'm being asked to do something, it's okay. Because in life, you don't know how you get there, but if you find yourself in a business and you succeed, maybe you'll continue, maybe your friends will continue. There is no problem. So being in school, having a business, being in any training, or doing it on your own is irrelevant. What's relevant is you're in that situation, and here you are with your idealism and you want to help. The normal definition nila at that point is more of a community, I call it a community social enterprise. What is that? Where they say, if I can help increase their income, like my friend Jella here, diba? Or help them recover from something, then I'm doing a social enterprise that helps. I call those community social enterprises. They're very localized. We don't know if they're replicable, but they're certainly important, and they will really help the lives of people and society. Those should be encouraged, but they don't need incentives. They do need a network, some way to connect to people, whether it's for training, etc. Actually, the money will be much later. But now, if we agree that there's such a thing as community social enterprise, then the job of defining social entrepreneurship becomes easy. Because now you don't have to worry about garbage collection, recycling, because ibang scale, ibang ano. And yet, it's not about scale. It's about the way the focus and the strategies are created. And if you have time, we can talk about the metrics and the research with that. Because I can talk about specific statistics and data. Mahirap ang nagsasalita. That's why I will agree to support a 20-year study. I gave a professorial chair here in the Graduate School of Education to do another study, fully funded. But I gave it to them 23 years ago. See, when we started our foundation, everything I'm doing now was announced 25 years ago. Because I spent almost 6 years thinking about this. From all the mistakes we made from our 3 other foundations, palpa kami talaga. And yet, anong resulta ng tatlo? The biggest microfinance institution in Central Luzon. Last December, we raised 200 million payment from our original 5,000 pesos. We're still at 99% repayment. We now have 5 major branches that look like banks. I gave it up. Why? Wala na. I have nothing to contribute. Diba? I've done my job. It was started in my house, in my living room. I brought in the SPI and I said, can I change half of what you're doing? Sabi ni Eli Lademora, the executive director, sure. Who is Eli? My algebra teacher in Lasal. So he knows I'm a serious person because naging estudyante niya ako. He was also my teacher in advanced algebra. Hindi ako nadala. Okay, so that's one example, one story. And if you thought about it, it's a nice name, diba? Community social enterprise. If Senator Bam wants to recognize it, the only thing I want him to recognize is the absence of red tape, because we have 2 other things that were approved before. One is Kalakalan 20, which has never been repealed under OCA or BOS, where you can register and not pay any taxes. And then ngayon, may bagong community enterprise. Nakalimutan nila, pwedeng may community social enterprise portion. Hopefully, those 2 can be consolidated and say there is a subsegment called social entrepreneurship, which which should even be better supported kahit na wala lang red tape. Why? Because all community enterprises or social enterprises and bigger firms have the same requirement to be good corporate citizens. We are Filipinos. We should pay minimum wage. Just because you're a social enterprise doesn't mean you're exempted from minimum wage. Ito 5,000 income, kalokohan yan. Kung hindi mo kaya, don't put up. I mean, like I said, we can be bleeding hearts. There are situations where you should never go into business. Diba? You should, when you don't want to charge for your own time. I disagree with people who say you have to input the cost. Why? Mabait kang tao eh. So wala ano. But at some point in time, kung gusto mo, fine. But your time, nobody should tell you. Ay, mali ang calculation. I hear that from many business school teachers. I used to teach business school teachers. I'm co-founder of the Business Professors Association in this country. And I was telling them, huwag mo gagawin gano'n. Kasi parang mali. Okay. Second story mo. So, tapos ka na sa community enterprise. You now have a cooperative. You have a fair trade group. You have one of these many other permutations of business with a conscience or a social objective. What do you do with them? My answer is, make them all social business and give them incentives. See, I want to give incentives to social businesses, which I think are 70 to 90% of what we call social enterprises. Here are people who, when they have money, they do good. When they don't have money, they don't do good. And yet, all we ask them, and maybe I'm a failure, but I've been telling them for 15, 10, 12 years, have the same beneficiary group. That's all. Parang eskwelahan niya. Your students do a lot of things. Why not focus on one community? Pabalik-balik kayo, iba-ibang ginagawa mo, but always the same people. Why? Because yung sinasabi ni Jera is important. Kailangan maintindihan mo, this is about friendship, faith, trust, all the wonderful things that we learn in this section of the Bible called the Cardinal Virtues. Importante yan. So, for me, those social businesses are the ones that should be encouraged. And my encouragement is lamang cheap money. Cheap money. What is cheap money? Let's lend them Islamic way. No interest, no collateral, sharing. You know, these guys have it right, but for social business. Okay. So what happens now to the social entrepreneurs? Diba? For me, there are enough people doing startups, including setup of the government, DTI's program, etc. They may need more resources, but we don't need any more programs. Buti na nga, nag-consolidate ang DTI para hindi magulo. Before, national, kasama ko din, inibita ko, National Anti-Poverty Commission, National Commission for... My God, I was attending meetings and they're all talking about giving money. Ngayon, consolidated in STC and DTI. Tama yan. But you have a group like MCPI. Pumilya ka dyan, di ba? You know, MCPI, if you don't know it, is the industry group for microfinance institutions. And they follow all the central bank guidelines or trying to. Yun ang gawin mo, as opposed to yung mga commercial banking, nagbabayad ng penalty, hindi ginagawa ang trabaho nila. Did you know that? That the average commercial universal bank does not meet the requirements. And the central bank collects millions and millions in penalties. And here you have a group of microfinance institutions that you guys don't know who are the correct conduit, and ADB, di ba, central bank, they work with them. We don't need again anymore. Ang dami nila. Yan ang totoong nangangailangan ng capacity building. For me, all of this, microfinance, social business. So, what is a social enterprise, an entrepreneur? Yung sinasabi namin, if you're willing to consider it, those who have decided that what they're doing socially, whether it's to help a group of farmers, create new product lines, introduce technology, whatever they're doing is a cause of their doing business. So their challenge for productivity is higher. Ang taas na requirement for productivity because you have a cost penalty. And so those people, we should leave them alone. Diba? Now what should we do with them? For me, these are the people I want to bring to Enchanted Farm, to Ateneo. All of these guys have talked to us about all sorts of things. And I said, you know, I'm not interested in having this huge organization called BCYF. I want to do what I did with the first 3 foundations I put up. As soon as they succeeded, I and the rest of the founders all resigned. And we left everything, including all the resources. All of us, I think that's our challenge. Sincere ka ba? Okay, at the height of the success of what you're doing, give it up. Give it to the next generation. I gave up the presidency of my foundation last year. I'm about to give up the chairmanship. I don't control the treasury and secretary function anymore. So you're a real social entrepreneur, show me you're doing this. I don't ask that of social businesses. Mga fair trade co-op, they have enough issues. Di ba? We don't, but for social enterprise now, I'm a teacher, I'm teaching social entrepreneurship. Parang ang bigat ng gusto ko. Well, it should be. For those who aspire to do more or who are given more resources, I am sorry. More is required and none of us have to apologize. At least not us in BCYF. And if you don't like it, it's okay. We can be friends at the bar, but not in the work or project. Did I answer your question, ma'am? Thank you.
I think we realize the scope or the gravity of trying to come up with a social enterprise agenda, and at least we have now have a good understanding of what it takes and how we can collaborate with each other. Siguro just a question, would we all right if I come up with an Excel database that I input your contact details that share with the group?
Good idea.
And
With pictures and...
Meron pa kayong privacy clearance?
yeah, meron bang bigger
May form yan eh, di ba? May form.
Yes.
We waive it.
Okay.
Get it this right. Because you need to follow this up.
Yes, yes.
Off the top of my head, I think I like the point of Tony that we really need to clarify definitions. However, we know that in social movements, there are really a variety of ideas, right? So I think on top of our research agenda would be to map the different representatives and their conceptions of social enterprise. Because that's a given. From the private citizen acting out of her conscience, to an experienced foundation person like Tony, to a management professor like myself. I remember in the 70s and 80s, all the leftists got together and found out they even had no single definition of what the left was. And I saw the map. I saw the map. It was a very interesting map. You had 20 players, and some were left of here, right of here, up of here. But then you could see where coalitions could form, which is good, right? So I think mapping the terrain would be our first research agenda. Then we know who are in that camp, so that we can connect with them. That's why I like roundtables. Now I know people I can approach for our classes and for the columns, because as I said, I'm serious. We can invite you to write your piece. That very same explanation you gave here, we can write that up as a column, and I think others should hear. Yeah? And my next suggestion, if it will appeal to everyone, is can we try to use the Constitution? Because the Constitution is the fundamental vision statement of our country. Our core values are stated there: equality, love, and others. And the goal of a rising quality of life for all is explicit in the Constitution. All my students get it when I say it. Because when you put technical people and academics in one room, of course you will have all the perspectives. But if we believe that we are a republican democracy, then we know that sovereignty resides in the people and all power emanates from the people, right? And this is a ratified constitution. Of course, they want to change it for other reasons, but it is the constitution. So maybe that can help. The map plus anchoring our efforts in the Constitution might be that single glue that can bring us all together, and then all the different clusters now contribute based on their strengths. Kasi iba-iba yung strengths natin. And that's when we can really get together. Because when you look at the archipelago of the Philippines, our map is unique in the world. Wala nang mas butil pang mapa sa buong mundo. Kaya minsan butil-butil din tayo mag-isip. I mean, you don't have to watch General Luna to see that nothing has changed. Pero I think given this round table, nakikita natin ngayon na there is so much hope in this room We just have to map. We have to make sure that we have that mailing list so that moving forward, we can be in touch. Sabi ko nga kay Iking, bibisitahin ko rin siya sa ADP eh. Masarap ang kape dun eh. So, just 2 ideas off the back of my head. Thank you. Ako na bibili, sagot ko na yung kape ni Iking.
Sir, may I say something or ask? No? Because actually, I'm more a volunteer and consultant of foundations, and I've been battling with the idea if it could fit into a social SE definition, but with what you have said, it seems like it doesn't. But I was wondering if it could be converted, because that's our problem now with foundations. They're doing a lot of good, but then it cannot be sustained. But I was wondering if they think SE rather than think foundation or think NGO, maybe they will thrive. And we need these institutions also to survive. So I was wondering if that would fit into the project.
I think that the more focus and organization is the better. And ako, for me, by the way, I don't care too much about labels. So, anybody wants to call their activity a social enterprise? Great. I mean, we're talking academically, so I can talk like this. But when I'm outside, I don't talk like this. I tell them, you know, I'm a Filipino. I want the Philippines to improve. May ginagawa ka, you want to call it social enterprise. It's great. I only have a comment when you start saying, can I have incentives? Can I have legislation? Ay ko yan. Ngayon, pinakikalaman mo pati space ko. Pero when you do good, nobody in their right mind should say, bakit gano'n ang pangalan mo or ano? And when I hear people say, that's why when I was in meetings and they said, ito hindi social enterprise, tumayo. It's like when they say, kung kayo, charity philanthropy, hindi CSR. Sabi ko, hindi, let's call this CSR 1.0, where everything comes from. All CSR comes from an innate interest in helping people, diba? To do charity, to do good. Ganun din I think sa social entrepreneurship. So, the form of the organization is something that we all learned in school. It's a function of what the founders or managers or owners want it to be. The more vague it is, I think the more difficult it is. I remember years ago, I was one of the 2 people that created the marketing department in Lasal. And I was telling them, ang problema ko sa Lasal, kulang ng mathematical calculation ang marketing natin. Now, in this modern world, the more you need those calculations, specificity is required. What more is a social enterprise or social business? Diba? That's why when people tell me, sorry, hindi ako interested sa money. Ang inisip ko lang, pero hindi ko sinasabi, you intend to withdraw from the human race, right? Magbubunto ka na lang. Kasi ano ba, pupuntahin mo na walang arithmetic, diba? Bibili ka sa Rizal store. Kailangan alam mo na you're overpaying kung ka doon sa mas malaking tindahan. Diba? I don't know if I answered your question.